Well, good afternoon. It's Wednesday, April 29th, 2020, and this is Pastor Al Sones coming to you. I'm actually on the auditorium on the platform of Good News Church in Mechanicsburg right now. We're moving from the studio location where we've typically been doing live streams, and we're going to now begin doing live streams and recording our service from the platform in our auditorium here at 124 State Road. Our website is goodnewsfmc.com, and of course this is on Facebook right now, so you know where our Good News FMC Facebook page is. So today I want to talk with you about this topic. It's when we cannot run from trouble. Now, I have a lot of boyhood memories of the word trouble, and there's a reason for that. One time in particular comes to mind when I was a student in 6th grade. One of my friends went to the teacher and told on me. Now, I had said something to one of my friends about the teacher that was not right. I had said something that was very critical of my teacher, but I never had any idea that my teacher would be told what I said. But my friend went to my teacher, told her what I said, and she got really angry. So I distinctly remember being on the playground that day at recess, and my friend running out to me, running across the playground to me, laughing, and said, "I told on you, and you're in trouble." And indeed, I was in a lot of trouble when I went back into my classroom. You know, none of us like to be in trouble. When I was a young husband, I often drove old cars. So as you might well imagine, I had a lot of car trouble. But the reality was, because I had a lot of car trouble, I learned how to fix a lot of minor problems on cars. And over the years since then, I've often been able to help out my friends who had those same kinds of troubles. Because I faced the trouble and I learned what to do, I was able to help other people who are in trouble. I mean, this is a reality of life. When you face certain kinds of trouble, you learn how to get through the trouble. And when a community faces trouble together, the community becomes stronger. So you can see on the screen next to me right now a scripture verse. It's Psalm 46:1. And it says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." First of all, God is our refuge. It means we can go to God. There's often times where we can go to God and find a source of safety from a trouble. But we also see that God is our strength, which means when we're facing the heavy load of certain troubles, we find that God is strength to us. We can carry heavy loads because He is our strength. Jesus said, "In this world you will have trouble, but be of good cheer, I've overcome the world." It seems to be that part of life is to face trouble, that we will have trouble in this world. Now, sometimes we can get away from it, but sometimes we have to deal with it, and so we need strength. That's what Psalm 46:1 says, and we need help. Now, for weeks, we've been taking refuge from the ravages and the trouble of the coronavirus, and some people believe this, that we need to continue to seek refuge from the coronavirus until it is completely eliminated from the world. As a matter of fact, I read an article by a religious leader of another denomination that says we have to shelter in place until the virus is completely eradicated from the world. Now, I can understand a desire to be safe until the virus is eradicated, but that's not how communicable diseases work. That's not how viruses work. This virus will never be eliminated from the world. I can understand the desire for safety. I have two friends from other states who have lost their lives to this COVID-19 problem. But the question that's being faced by our nation is this: how much longer do we seek refuge? And when do we start to seek instead for the strength and look for the help that is necessary to return to the responsibilities of life? Yesterday, I spent most of my workday reading everything I could find, researching everything I could find about the coronavirus and about the impact of the current lockdown, the shutdown that many governors and health departments have mandated. After reading for hours many credible statistical sites, CDC and other sites, Johns Hopkins University, after reading many of these sites, it really does seem to me that the coronavirus is far less deadly than originally feared. Now, don't get me wrong, it's dangerous. But what we're realizing is many more people have had this and recovered from it than what was originally understood. The actual mortality rate of the coronavirus is not nearly as high as what you and I were once told. If you read the statistics, don't read the opinions of people. Look at the raw data, look at the statistics, and you will find that this virus is far less deadly than we were told. And I will tell you this, as more and more people, or the more that people retreat from this one type of risk, the more they will be creating other troubles. This is, in many people's minds, a real risk compared to a theoretical risk. The real risk of the coronavirus compared to the theoretical risks of the other kinds of troubles. But those other types of troubles are not theoretical. And indeed, there is great damage being done to the foundation of our community health and our community life by virtue of the total shutdown that we're in. Now, God is a source of wisdom. He's a very present help in trouble, is what the Bible says. And in the Bible, we are told to seek wisdom from God. Living wisely minimizes risks, and we should all live wisely. Living wisely minimizes risks, but cannot eliminate the risks of life. In reality, my friends, there is no such thing as a risk-free life. And in every day, in order to accomplish what you need to do in life, you face the risk of certain dangers. I keep that in mind every time I get in my vehicle and drive across town, that indeed I'm actually at a greater risk of harm driving across town than I am climbing on a jet and flying across the nation. But I accept the risks of that. I'm thankful for the safety that I've had. I drive wisely. I don't text on my cell phone. I don't do things that distract me. So I practice wisdom to minimize risk, but there's no way to completely eliminate that particular kind of risk. So in order to face the responsibilities that we have to face in life, we have to risk certain dangers. So we need God's help in trouble. We need God to guide us. We need God to give us strength to take responsibility to face and to manage the challenges and dangers of life. My friends, it's time to assume personal responsibility and to exercise community wisdom to lower the risk of the disease as we bring an end to the shutdown of our daily lives, the shutdown of our jobs, and the shutdown of our other activities. Now, the federal government has issued guidelines for what's called opening up America again. And phase one has set the target date of Friday, May 1st, to systematically begin to reopen the nation with the responsibility given to states and local regions to apply these guidelines in a wise and local way. Phase one, according to the federal government, includes churches. Now, listen, at some point, I'm just a pastor of one church. We're one church in a community and in a nation. But at some point, we will reopen church. The coronavirus and many other diseases, many other risks will not be eliminated before we reopen our church or before we reopen our nation. We will, in the midst of trouble, we will take responsibility to make wise choices to reopen in a way that minimizes risks and maximizes safety. Now, we're not opening this Sunday. This coming Sunday is Sunday, May 3rd. We're not reopening for public service on this Sunday. I'm just laying some groundwork for you to be aware if you're part of our church community, or just as you in this community at large are coming to an understanding of how we as a nation need to gradually begin to reopen. We as a church, we're going to continue to do live stream with the worship and the word beginning at 10:30 a.m. One of the reasons why I'm doing this fireside chat live stream from our platform today is that we are practicing the video and the audio implications of doing live stream from such a large, high-ceilinged room such as this. Initially, when we begin to come together, we're not coming together this Sunday, May 3rd. We will start soon, but not this week. Initially, we're going to practice basic social distancing. That's wise. That minimizes risk. We're going to work to maintain an attendance in our auditorium that is around or less than 50% of our approved building capacity. That's one of the guidelines that's advised, to not go beyond 50% of your occupancy permit, and we will honor that. We're going to provide extra space between where people sit. There's going to be multiple locations in our building where people can go. If families want to separate into family clusters into different rooms, we'll provide for video stream and audio stream into those rooms so that people can see and hear the service, have a sense of being out of their home and in this place, but also respecting the social distancing guidelines. You know, we're a very hospitable church, and if you come on a usual Sunday in the past, you would come in and you'd be able to go get a cup of coffee free of charge, might I add. You'd be able to go to a refreshment table. There's all kinds of pastries and healthy fruit snacks and other kinds of snacks there. But initially, when we reopen our church, we're not going to have that table. We're not going to have a hospitality table there like that, because that would just create a risk of passing on the disease type of thing. In our service itself, we're not going to pass an offering plate from person to person. We're not even going to hand out a bulletin. We have this little program, printed program, that usually when you come into our auditorium, somebody hands you the bulletin. We're not going to do that. That'll just be on a table. You can pick one up. So our building is going to be very clean. Today, communication went out to all of the partners and members of our church saying we need to deep clean our facility in the near future. So we're going to have a very clean building, and from week to week, we're going to do careful cleaning and disinfecting of all highly used surfaces and objects. Listen, we're going to ask for wisdom in the community to be exercised in this way. If you are in a high-risk category, that you yourself know that physically you're in a high-risk category, one of the reasons we're continuing to provide for the call-in and for the live stream is we want you to participate in the worship service from your home. We want you to stay safe. And if you have been exposed to it, please quarantine yourself, please distance yourself. If you are sick yourself in some way, it's better to stay home. But we believe that through personal responsibility and community wisdom, we can manage the risk, and in so doing, return to a more of a typical normal community life, so that we also can minimize or mitigate the many other risks that come from isolation and shutdown, which has not been healthy for us in a lot of ways as well. So we anticipate that with 2 weeks of decline in the disease statistics, it's a little bit challenging to read the statistics now, because as there's more testing, there's more diagnosed cases, but that doesn't mean that the incidence of cases is going higher. It just means the testing is going higher. What we're really looking at is the actual mortality rate. That is where the death divided by the number of cases, the numerator and the denominator are factored in, and we see that this is at a lower rate than what we had originally thought, and we're going to see an overall decline then, even as the testing increases. And we believe that as we see the decline in statistics, that more and more of our normal lives are beginning to reopen. In this world, we will have troubles, right? So we're going to make adjustments to be careful and healthy. We're going to continue to do the live stream. We believe that there's been a lot of challenges so that people need to stay home. You know, probably half of our congregation initially is going to feel important to continue to stay home, and we encourage that. You can live stream, watch our live stream on Facebook or on YouTube. This afternoon our YouTube stream is not working, but typically on a Sunday morning we have Facebook and YouTube live stream. So is YouTube going right now? Not going. So YouTube is offline right now, but we will be on Sunday as well. So we also know that there's many of our community agencies that are going through really difficult times financially. And so we have launched a Feed a Friend program with New Hope Ministries, which is a local community help agency. They feed hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people. They provide for other kinds of material. So we have a Feed a Friend drive. You can go to New Hope Ministries website. You can go to our Facebook page and find information of how you can donate to this drive. Right now, our drive has received more than $1,300, which is going to help people in need, but we want to continue to do even more. Now tonight, this is Wednesday, April 29th, so when I talk about tonight, I mean on Wednesday evening, April 29th at 8 p.m., we will be having a share and care meeting. A share and care meeting is an opportunity for people in the fellowship of our church community to be able to join on a video or audio Zoom call where we can just update one another about how life is going. We can share concerns or requests, and we conclude the meeting by praying together. Usually it's 45 minutes or less for the meeting. And we'll talk about reopening church, we'll talk about the concerns and the needs of the community, and then we'll pray together at the end. If you would like to have information about how to join into this Zoom call, 8 o'clock on Wednesday evening, share and care time, just simply go on the goodnewschurchfmc.com website, and you will find that there's a way there. Actually, that website, or here's the church number that's on the screen next to me, 717-791-0860. If you tell me that you'd like to have information about how to join tonight's Zoom call, I will respond to your call or to your email coming through our website and provide you with the information. In this world, we will have troubles, Jesus said. But be of good cheer, God has overcome the world, and God is our refuge and strength. He is a help in times of trouble. God bless you, my friends. Have a good afternoon.